There we go. Good afternoon. Fade to black breaking news for this Tuesday, February 13th, 2024. This is all of the news that you need. I'm Jimmy Church. Wow, what a weekend. Yeah, it was amazing. And that's right. After working about 125 hours, being there for about 150, sleeping for about 3. I made it back, and I slept last night for 12 straight hours. I'm just letting you know, but I'm all good today. Kicking off another week here on Fade to Black, and the breaking news today. Help support the show. Help support everything that we do around here. Get yourself a Fade to Black T-shirt. 2 T-shirts, 2 ways to get them. The links are below. Get yourself a Game Changer membership. Do it today. The links are below, and you will get River Moon Coffee. Fade to Black blend. In addition to your autographed T-shirt. All right, the links are below. Let's get things started. This week on Fade to Black, last night we were off air. Yeah, I didn't make it back in time. That was the plan, but I did make it back in time. So last night we were off air. Tonight, Bernie J. Taylor is with us. We're going to be talking about astronomy and mythology, all the way from ancient times, all of it through to today and how it affects the rest of the world. So we're going to be doing that tonight. Tomorrow night, I can't wait for this. Sev Talk is with us. Yeah, man. A life of ET contact and service. So we're going to be talking about all of that tomorrow night with Sev Talk. Excited about that. And then Thursday, another huge show. 3 big shows this week. Thursday night, Dr. Damon Abraham is with us. Oh, yeah. We're going to be talking about technology meets parapsychology, all of it. There is a lot to discuss. And so that is going down Thursday night. Very excited about this show. With that, oh, man, where do I start? Let's start with on this day in history, 1689, William and Mary. You know, I always think of that song, William and Mary wouldn't do that. Okay, anyway, William and Mary were proclaimed king and queen of England on this day in 1689, after which they ruled jointly as King William III and Queen Mary II until her death in 1694. On this day in history, 1689. Fader fact, that was Steely Dan, by the way, in case you missed the reference. Fader fact, the flag of Virginia features an exposed boob on the figure of Virtus. That's right. The Roman goddess of virtue. Go check it out. It's right there. Let's get to the breaking news. Huge breaking news going down tomorrow night because season 3 of Resident Alien premieres tomorrow night on the Sci-Fi Channel. Here we go. Season 3 of Resident Alien. All right, let's get to it. A Stone Age wall discovered, and you know, it's so funny, Baltic Sea, and I thought, but yeah, it's crazy news. A Stone Age wall discovered beneath the waves off Germany's Baltic coast, may be the oldest known megastructure built by humans in Europe. The wall, which stretches for nearly a kilometer along the seafloor in the Bay of Mecklenburg, was spotted by accident when scientists operated a multi-beam sonar system from a research vessel on a student trip about 6 miles offshore. Closer inspection of the structure, named the Blinker Wall, revealed about 1,400 smaller stones that appear to have been positioned to connect nearly 300 larger boulders, many of which were too heavy for groups of humans to have moved. The submerged wall, described as a thrilling discovery, is covered by 21 meters of water, but researchers believed it was constructed by hunter gatherers on land next to a lake or marsh more than 10,000 years ago. While the purpose of the wall is hard to prove, nobody knows. Scientists suspect it served as a driving lane for hunters. Yeah. NASA Administrator Bill Nelson is back in the news because he just participated in a signing ceremony Friday with Greece's foreign minister as Greece became the 35th country to sign the Artemis Accords. The Accords establish a practical set of principles to guide space exploration cooperation among nations. Also participating in the event at the U.S. Department of State were NASA Deputy Administrator Pam Melroy, U.S. Secretary of State Anthony Blinken, and Dr. Ioannis Daglas, President of the Hellenic Space Center. The signing occurred during the 5th United States-Greece Strategic Dialogue in Washington. The Artemis Accords were established in 2020 by the United States together with 7 other countries. The Artemis Accords reinforce and implement key obligations in the 1967 Outer Space Treaty. They also strengthen the commitment by the United States and signatory nations to the Registration Convention, the Rescue and Return Agreement, as well as best practices NASA and its partners support, including the public release of scientific data. Yeah. A man has died in what is thought to be the first fatal case of Alaskapox, a rare infection caused by a virus in the same broad group as smallpox and mpox. Many viruses in this group, known as orthopoxviruses, infect both animals and humans, including camelpox, cowpox, and mpox viruses. The Alaskapox virus was first discovered in 2015 in a person in Fairbanks, Alaska. But based on studies conducted in the state's Fairbanks North Star Borough, the virus is thought to primarily infect small animals, such as the red-backed voles, right? Also shrews. It's suspected that humans pick up the virus from these wild animals with their pet cats or dogs, sometimes acting as intermediaries. Now, also, health officials announced this week that a resident of Deschutes County, a rural part of Oregon, was diagnosed with plague, marking the state's first human case in more than 8 years. The person likely was infected by their pet cat, who had developed symptoms. All of this according to the Deschutes County Health Services. Now, there's no reason to freak out. We have a thing called antibiotics. Yeah, this happens a few times a year right here in the United States. I'm sure you remember when I reported a couple of weeks ago that just after midnight on January 21st, a roughly 3-foot-long asteroid fell through Earth's atmosphere, burning up in a blazing fireball seen across much of Europe and crashing to the ground as fragments of a meteorite near Berlin, Germany. You remember that? Well, when scientists arrived on the scene, and you know they would, they went there to recover and classify the pieces, and they discovered something crazy and rare. The rocks belong to an extremely uncommon group of meteorites known as Albites, which remain mysterious to researchers right now. Just 80 of the roughly 70,000 recovered meteorite fragments have been classified as Albites prior to this new impact. That's worth money. I'm just saying, that's money. I want an Albright watch. coming soon. Canada's government plans to ensure sexually explicit deep fakes like the images of Taylor Swift that generated global headlines last month are addressed by forthcoming legislation on online harms. If passed, the long delayed bill would establish new rules to govern certain categories of online content, including the non consensual sharing of intimate images. It's unclear right now whether fake videos created by artificial intelligence would fall under the definition of such images that already exists in the criminal code. Deepfake videos, we know, feature realistic simulations of celebrities, politicians, or other public figures and their voices. Sexual deepfakes include nude or pornographic content. The release of fake Taylor Swift images has led a number of legislators around the world to propose laws that deal specifically with sexually explicit deep fakes. It's a brave new world. The U.S. Space Force is looking at a number of options to extend the life of satellites that have run out of gas. One of those options, described as a jetpack, is a small propulsion unit that can be added onto an existing spacecraft already in orbit. Several of these ideas were presented at the Space Mobility Conference in Orlando, Florida, in late January. During the event, the commander of Space Launch Delta 45 said that an on-orbit refueling is and I quote, an immediate need, and that the Space Force is looking to acquire a backpack or a jetpack that could go and connect up with an existing satellite to A, give it more propulsion, whether it's designed to have sufficient thrust or not, or is out of propellant. Now, check this. Space Force leaders are saying that it wants to be able to react to dynamic threats and reposition satellites for as long as they're operational. That's crazy. Well, and finally, I'll leave you with this. This is what I'm here for. Researchers at the world's largest, biggest particle accelerator have put forward proposals to build a new, even larger atom smasher. The $17 billion Future Circular Collider, now called the FCC, would be 57 miles long. Now compare that to the 16.5 mile long Large Hadron Collider, the LHC. And we all know it's located at CERN near Geneva. Physicists want to use the FCC's increased size and power to go to the fringes of the standard model of particle physics, the current best theory that describes how the smallest components of the universe behave. By smashing particles at even higher energies, check this, 100 tera electron volts. Compare that to the LHC's current level of just 14. With that, the researchers hope to find unknown particles and forces, discover why matter outweighs antimatter, and get to the dark matter and dark energy stuff. Those two invisible entities believed to make up 95% of our universe. The standard model, despite being our most comprehensive one yet, has enormous gaps, and we all know that. Like where the force of gravity comes from, we don't know. What dark matter is made of, consciousness, I'm just saying, or why there is so much more matter than antimatter in the universe, consciousness, I'm just saying. Member states will meet in 2028 to decide whether to greenlight the project. It'll happen. Then the first phase of the machine, which would collide electrons with their antimatter counterparts, positrons, would come online in 2045. Finally, in the 2070s, the FCC would begin slamming protons into one another. So here it is. Sometime around 2071, we should open a portal where the freakiest and scariest things will invade and come and go as they please. Good times. There you go. There's all the Fade to Black breaking news that you need for this Tuesday, February 13th, 2024. Fade to Black breaking news is produced by Renee Newman. I'm Jimmy Church. I'll see everybody tonight on Fade to Black. Until then, go back, Lee Tepe.